The fog lifts on a village in the Ugandan countryside, a half hour outside of Kampala. By the time the sun is up, Friendship Village is a busy place. The milkman arrives on his bicycle. Women collect food from their gardens and cook in their kitchens out back. Children gather water for drinking and bathing from community wells. African families living very modest and quiet lives. It may not seem like much, but what is happening here is nothing short of extraordinary. That's because the homeowners, women like Sisi Nauli, were living on less than $1 a day in the slums of Kampala just a year ago.
I tell you, life has not been so well. It has been a very great struggle. And I remember a certain time, a friend of mine came and stole the whole of my money. When the landlady saw me crying, she said, "Please, I'm sorry, I can no longer hold you here. Please get another house." I started sleeping on verandas.
Being chased from house to house is over for Sissy. Soon, she'll move into a home that is being built as she watches. A home she is buying and paying for herself.
This one is my house, my own house. My real house, my own house.
Sissy's home will have 2 bedrooms, a sitting area, an outhouse, and a kitchen out back. And best of all, a garden.
Here I'm going to put here banana plants, and even behind cassava, each and everything. Pawpaws, sugar canes, and I don't know how it will look like. And I think it will look like a forest. I think I'll be singing the whole night. Praising God, moving from room to room, even outside, even inside like that, going, dancing, and shouting, "Glory be to God." And long live Bead for Life.
Bead for Life. It is an innovative, income-generating project that is helping families come out of extreme, life-threatening poverty by creating work and a market for the crafts they make. Women here roll beads out of recycled paper and create colorful necklaces and bracelets.
Thank you for making so many bangles.
They are sent to women in North America that sell the jewelry at bead parties and online. The profits are sent back to Uganda.
They're all unique.
Through the collaboration, Ugandan women can afford to feed their families, send children to school, receive health care, and save money for down payments on homes of their own. What many in Africa see as an impossible dream.
Finished.
Achan Grace is one of the beaders. In 2006, she was living in the Acholi slum, an impoverished refugee from the civil war in northern Uganda, raising 5 children by herself.
Owning a house is very important, especially if you have a good house, because your kids can live in a better environment, and even if it rains, you're sleeping inside your house. Even if you've not eaten, no one knows you've not eaten. A house covers a lot.
Over 3 years, Achan Grace rolled more than 1 million beads to support her family. Bead for Life paid cash for her necklaces and bracelets twice a month at sales. Achan Grace saved 1.2 million shillings, $685 for a down payment. Today, Achan Grace is in her new home. Bead for Life provides the mortgage, and each month she pays $75 to $150 off the loan through her beadwork. In just over 2 years, the house and the land will be fully paid for.
So, if I'm finished also to pay my mortgage, I think I will make the party. I will call my neighbor. I will buy the soda, drinking. Then I will be okay. If I die now, my children will have what? house to stay there.
Nice to see you, dear.
Torkin Wakefield is one of Bead for Life's founders.
She built this house really with beads. Beads became bricks, and the house became really an exit from poverty. And you know, for some of these women, they were living under trees. And when it rained, they would grab their children in the middle of the night, if it were, and run underneath an eave of a building. So imagine if that was your reality. From there to home ownership, where they really are in charge of a 3 or 4 room house, and they have a flourishing garden, and their children are in school. Really, sometimes they'll say, I'm a smart woman now, or, you know, I'm no longer poor. And compared to where they were, they really are out of extreme poverty.
Torkin moved to Kampala 4 years ago with her husband, a prominent AIDS doctor. She began volunteering in an orphanage and AIDS treatment center, each serving the poorest of the poor. She saw the poverty and misery in the slums with her own eyes. Large families living in one-room huts made of mud and stick that fell apart in the rain. Many who couldn't make their $7 a month rent payment, almost all dreaming of a home of their own. She also saw women making beautiful bead jewelry and thought that it just might sell back home. Bead for Life was born.
She's come from in danger of dying to self-sufficiency and ownership. She has a house. She'll have the land as soon as the mortgage is paid. Her children are all in school, and she's growing food. And so, you know, this is, when you think about eradicating poverty, this is what the goal is. It's someone standing on their own feet, free of an organization, and able to move her life forward.
Friendship Village is a partnership between Bead for Life and the women it helps. Bead for Life purchased 18 acres of land and builds affordable houses. The women help design the homes and layouts and work together to govern the village. Today, they live here with their husbands, children, orphans, and extended families.
Every once in a while, I sort of take a step back and see what we've achieved here in the last couple of years.
Village coordinator Campbell Meyer looked for a year for land with a clear title, close to markets, roads, schools, and healthcare, but a world away from life in the slums. The first home was built in April 2007. When it is completed, Friendship Village will have 150 homes that cost about 4 million shillings apiece, $2,200. There have been no defaults. All of the owners have been making their payments on time.
We don't come here and put up a house for a family and then they move in. We partner with a family to work together to build a house together, and then that family takes over ownership of that house over time, where we have a relationship that says the NGO has trust in this specific family, not only to achieve the goal of building that house, but to be trusted with that responsibility to then complete repayment and take ownership of that house. And that really has a strong effect on building a lot of responsibility and a lot of connection for people to the specific opportunity that's offered to them.
Hello, how are you, dear?
Torkin took us on a tour of Friendship Village. She knows every family's story.
Oh, hello. Hello. Look at your baby. She looks really healthy. Hello, Moses. Yeah, the proud papa. Yeah. Machala and Moses used to live in a very small little wooden house in a slum called Namwango. And whenever it would rain, the house would fill up with a river of mud. And they'd have to actually leave the house because they didn't have furniture to get up on. They were living on mats. Then it would take 2 days for the house to dry out. So they are very, very delighted with their new house. Hello, Tassie. How are you, dear? So, Tassie, your garden looks so beautiful. Yes, you love flowers.
I love it.
You do. You know, this house is an example of a true success story. Tassie was living in a little wooden house in one of the slums right next to, 18 other little tiny houses, all close together. And this house, she's planted a hedge, she's painted her walkway, she's planted flowers. There's so much love and beauty in this garden. It's kind of symbolic of a new day for her. Hi, Harriet.
Hi, Tokin.
How are you?
Yeah, fine. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. You're welcome.
Hey, look at your garden. Your basil's growing like crazy.
Yes.
This is fantastic. You're going to find a good market. You're going to find a good market for this. Oh, Harriet's story, it really exemplifies one of the real successes that's going on in this village. She had a little 3-year-old named Promise, a beautiful little girl. And Promise died suddenly of a brain aneurysm. It was a terrible tragedy. But the whole community turned out for her. Although it was a terrible tragedy for all of us, at the end of the day, we could feel that something had happened to the village that was going to sustain it in the hard times, and that people were really going to show up for one another.
Bead for Life's village has caught the eye of local government and other relief organizations looking for solutions in the fight against extreme poverty. The combination of affordable housing, training, and access to markets makes this community thrive, says socially minded businessman and commentator Fahadid Kayondo.
All these ones are now focused not on looking for employment anywhere, but for running their small businesses from their homes. So that's why it will be successful and it will be sustainable. Once you have an income-generating activity, you can buy a piece of land, put up a small house that you can afford, and live a happy life. We are not looking at riches, but quality life. Earning a decent living is what we are looking up for.
The primary goal is to empower impoverished women to help themselves. I think when you have that kind of success in your life, it changes you and it empowers you. And then you look at the next goal and you say, well, I can do that. I've done this. I've come from very trying situation and look at me now. I own my home, I have a business, and this sense within you of who you are. Now you're a leader, now you're a successful woman. And I hear them passing it on to their daughters too, and their sons. That really, you can overcome adversity. You can have some of the things that make life worth living.
For Sissy Naluli, her life worth living. Her road out of poverty ends when she walks through the door of her very own home.
I told you I no longer sleep the whole night. I'm so excited. When it reaches 2:30 in the night, I wake up and I start thinking, am I the real one? Or I'm dreaming. It will be so wonderful. And I don't know what I'll do the first day when I'll sleep in my life, in my house. Maybe I'll sing the whole night. I don't know what I will do. God knows.